Welcome back to another episode of JK Philly. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you don't mind dropping a subscription and a follow to the channel, we greatly appreciate it. Let's get into it. What was a bigger upset, the Commanders Lions game or that Ravens game?
The Commanders Lions game easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was split on the Bills Ravens game. I think the Bills Ravens were two very, very evenly matched teams, and they played a very evenly matched football game. The difference being, neither quarterback, you expect to see the MVP versus the runner up, whoever ends up getting it. You expect that to be like a shootout. I think Lamar threw for 207 and Josh Allen threw for I think he was under 175. So you didn't really expect that from your MVP quarterback showdown. But the difference ended up being Lamar's two first half turnovers and Josh Allen not having any turnovers and taking care of the football, just doing what he needed to do. And then in the second half, Mark Andrews forgetting how to play football and catch footballs and forgetting that he's a power tight end and deciding he was going to try to east-west run and juke a guy because he, I don't know, forgot who he was for a second.
I wasn't watching that game. How much time was left in the game when that happened?
When he dropped the 2-point conversion,
Mm-hmm.
the game was over.
Oh,
There was like there was a minute 30 left.
uh-huh.
So as soon as the Ravens didn't get the onside kick, they technically could have gotten a stop and gotten the ball back. They didn't even get the ball back with seconds
Seconds.
to go in the game.
Right.
Yeah. So it wasn't technically over, but once he dropped that 2-point conversion, it was over.
That's definitely a tough way to go out. You've obviously seen a bunch of stuff on social media about, I guess, Mark Andrews specifically, but yeah,
Nah, what you talking about? I ain't seen nothing.
it's been a lot. I'm not even a fan of the Ravens. I don't have an algorithm of football on my personal pages, but I'm still seeing a bunch of like Ravens TikToks and reels and stuff like that. It's just funny to see. Other than that, we had our great Eagles game versus the Rams that we beat. It was close. It was like 25-23 or something like that. 25
The
22.
final score, yeah, the final score ended up flattering the Rams. The Rams were always kind of in the game, but it never felt like they were going to overtake that game from the Eagles.
I think my main
Uh,
question from that game is I watched majority of it probably like right when Saquon had that run at the end and he scored. That's kind of when I like turned it off, but I was like watching on and off, playing the game and stuff like that. Do you think the snow was a real factor of that game, or do you think it was going to happen like that anyway?
no, no, it was a real factor. Whether it changed the winner of the game, I don't know about that.
Hmm.
I think the Eagles still would have won, but you saw it. The Rams were fumbling the ball like maniacs.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to be able to string 10 plays together where they didn't fumble the football. Guys that are usually pretty sure-handed, like Puka Nakua, are dropping balls. That doesn't usually happen. Um, didn't seem to affect the Eagles as much, but that's what happens when you take a team from LA and they come to Philly.
Right.
I know sometimes people play that down, but yeah, that means a lot. You're playing most of your games in the sunshine.
Hmm.
You might come over to the East Coast for a cold game or two, maybe three,
Yeah.
but you playing most of your season in warm weather when all these teams up around the Eagles area, once the shit hits, I don't know. Most of the time November, although November was real warm this year, it starts to get cold as hell for them football games. You're
Yeah.
looking at like 35-degree kickoffs, and then towards the end of the season, you're looking at like 15, 20-degree kickoffs with, the chance for a ridiculous amount of snow. It affected the game way more than the little bit of snow affected the Ravens Bills game,
Hmm. Yeah,
which it's
definitely.
still, cold weather. It's still harder to catch the football. Those guys will always say it's much harder to play in cold weather, but not the way, that ball was slipping and sliding in that Eagles game.
Hmm. Moving on, Eagles, Commanders now. It's supposed to be like regular matchup. It's supposed to be like, yeah, the Eagles got it in the bag, but it just scares you a little bit as an Eagles fan, regardless of, who the Commanders are and everything like that, of just defeating the Lions and then obviously the Bucks, but at the same time they beat us in that last game even though Jalen Hurts went out. What do you expect from that game? You think it's going to be as hyped up as people are talking about, or you think Eagles are just going to walk in there and handle business like usual?
Yeah, I think it goes more like the Packers game.
Yeah.
I think it's the playoffs, so you're not going to blow teams out because they're playing their ass off. Especially if they beat the Packers in the first round. This is the NFC Championship game. They're going to be getting the Commanders' best punch, but they're a very young, inexperienced team going up against an Eagles team that's been there already.
Hmm.
And you see a million memes about Jalen Hurts, winning every game throwing 1-0 touchdowns and only having 150 yards passing, but
Right.
it doesn't really matter when you win the football game.
Right.
And I think they handle. I think it's one of them games. Like I said, I don't think you blow them out, but I think you're up the whole time. You feel, maybe as an Eagles fan, you're not comfortable because you're never comfortable as a fan watching a game until them all three of them zeros hit the scoreboard.
Right.
But I think you watch this feeling like we're the better team as long as we don't do something extremely dumb. Because they almost beat them with Kenny Pickett.
Right.
And I expect, barring anything crazy like Hurts going out again or anything like that, I think they handle the Commanders.
Yeah. That's kind of what my feeling is too, but obviously the more passionate of the Eagles fans are kind of buying into the story of what they've accomplished so far in the playoffs, and they're a little bit not, I wouldn't say Eagles fans are frightened about the Commanders, but they're like a little bit hesitant to go 100% in of like, yeah, we got this, no problem, whatever, just because of the performance they had against the Lions. But I kind of feel the same way. I'm pretty sure we're just going to come in and handle business as long as we don't have a mess up somewhere.
Even calling that the Lions defense is a little crazy because of the amount of injuries. They're running a lot of dudes out there who they never intended to be on their team late in the season. But a lot of the times they say, the healthiest teams go the furthest. That Eagles defense compared to what the Lions are running out there is night and day. The Eagles are a much, much, much better defensive team than what the Lions are running out.
Sounds like you're pretty set in understanding that the Eagles are probably going to come out victorious on this one. So jumping over to the other side, the Bills going up against the Chiefs seems like a little bit more of I would say a little bit more of an evenly matched up game that's going to be happening. Who do you think is going to come out of that, and what are the biggest things that, I guess, looking at the Bills being the lower seed, what do they need to do coming in as the underdog in this scenario?
Play smart football. Watch out for, the Chiefs. Everything always seems to bounce the Chiefs' way.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to watch. They're a very opportunistic team. If you throw up a dud deep, like you throw a ball up that doesn't come out your hand right, it's getting intercepted. You're loose with that ball in the pocket. Chris Jones is going to come around the edge and you're going to fumble. Like, they always seem to create something. Especially that defense the last 2 years, while the offense has taken a bit of a step back from the historic numbers they were putting up them first few years of Mahomes' career. As soon as the offense took a little step back, all of a sudden the defense decided they were going to be a top 3 unit in the NFL. That being said, give me the Chiefs 30-25.
I could see it going like that. Yeah, well, I guess that kind of wraps up our NFL news. So it's going to be Eagles versus the Commanders and Chiefs versus the Bills. They both play on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, both play on Sunday.
Yeah, same time as the games yesterday, 3 and 6:30.
No update with anything else. Obviously, I've been doing a couple of like Sixers live streams and just like going over play by play about how the Sixers are playing. We got 6, 7, maybe 8 players that are active on the team, the roster right now that aren't hurt. Yabusele's been out of the lineup. Paul George has been out of the lineup. Caleb Martin and Joel Embiid and Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson and everybody else is hurt right now. So we're really just playing all our G League guys. We're calling everybody up alongside Maxey and basically Kelly Oubre. But yeah, they've been showing, and I was talking about it in the live stream. It seems like the teams are just like messing with them in the first round or like the first couple quarters. It's like the first 3 quarters against the Bucks and the Pacers. It's like no more than a 9-point game between them. Like, we catch a lead sometimes on the Pacers, and even last night on the Bucks, like, we're catching a 1-2 point lead and going back and forth. And Nick Nurse is like throwing some zone out there and stuff like that, just like completely mixing it up. As soon as
he's trying,
he's really trying everything. And as soon as that fourth quarter comes, I just feel like that's what is giving me the evidence in my head of like, all right, y'all playing with us, because they get the fourth quarter, 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, they go on a 15-0 run. It's like, all right, why didn't y'all do this 20 minutes ago? I don't know. I feel like they're just playing with them at this point. But as long as guys like Adem Bona is getting some good minutes, Ricky Council is improving his shot while he's playing in games that matter, I guess. But they look all right.
Adem Bona has looked all right the last 2 games.
Last like 3 games, he hasn't missed.
Yeah, no, he just man, he threw it. That was a ferocious dunk he threw down. That kind of came out of nowhere for me when I was watching it. I didn't expect him to get up like that and throw it down like
Oh
that.
yeah. You
I
can
didn't know
tell with
that.
the Dembona that he's just like he's got so much energy and he just doesn't know what to do with it because he's
Yeah,
jumping for every single block and if he gets an opportunity at the rim, he's jumping as high as he can. He did it 3 times against the Pacers and then like 2 times last night against the Bucks. Like he's just
yeah,
has so much energy and it's like once they mold that into what an NBA center is supposed to be or stretch for whatever he's going to be like hopefully he can be pretty solid cuz he seems like pretty well adjusted and like trying to follow the recipe of what an NBA player is but other than that he's just like a bundle of energy out there right now.
which I like. I like energy guys off the bench. If he can bring some energy into the game, like you said, block some shots. If he gets one block for every three he jumps for, whatever. We're fishing for small positives here with the Sixers. It's
Right.
hard.
We're talking about our
Um,
15th man on the bench.
yeah, I know. Maxi shot much more efficient last game. I'll give him that. I've been a big Maxi critic this year, even though I think part of his poor shot selection and just his goddamn he's chucking that ball up there is because who else is going to chuck the ball up there?
Mhm.
And I'd like to see him be a little more efficient. Like I said, it seems like every night I look at the box score, he 2 of 8 from three. He got 35 points, but on 34 shots. So
Exactly.
he's not playing bad. I just like to see him be more efficient. But what are you going to do when all five guys on the off or the defense are looking straight at him?
It is what it is. Good luck to our Eagles on Sunday. We'll be rooting for them to go to the Super Bowl. Hopefully again. Hopefully it's another Eagles Chiefs rematch. If not, an Eagles Bills matchup. That should be good. Regardless of whatever way it plays out, as long as the Eagles wins, it should be all right. Sixers, good luck. I ain't got nothing else to
Yeah,
say.
I'll be honest. I like the Eagles regardless who comes out of the AFC.
That's all I have.